All right, welcome everybody. Hey, we're here. It's Friday in Indianapolis, and we've got our buddy Steve from Web Development Goals on, like we always do. And
Hi,
this
everybody.
morning, hello, Steve. And this morning we have Tip Top Lawns. Chris Brown started the business. I'm sure we're going to hear all about how that's going and what's been happening with him. Really looking forward to hearing that story. So we're going to jump right in. Chris, thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
All right. So, Chris, tell us. I think about 3 years in the business here, right?
Yeah, 3 years ago, started it to. I had a handful of basically friends and family that needed services, whether they were handicapped, disabled, and it kept me in shape on my days off from my main job. So that's how it started, and then it just went from there.
Awesome. So, and for those that don't know, man, Chris is a bodybuilder by trade. I mean, look at them guns. I think that's awesome. Uh, so, Chris, how do you grow the business? Hey, you get into something, and I think you realize early on in the business that I need more, right? I got to get more. So, how have you grown the business in 3 years? What have you done, and how do you approach that?
Well, I tell you, being in lawn and landscape, I mean, those companies are a dime a dozen out there. So what I knew I had to do, I had to provide first and foremost a professional service without the professional price. And to achieve that, I had to take what money I had saved. I worked overtime on my main job for 3 years straight, making extra money. Not take out any business loans, and bought my equipment, from the money I worked for to so that there wouldn't be much overhead. That way I could immediately provide great prices right out the chute.
That's cool. That's cool. So, no loan. That's hard to do. That's not easy because I don't think anybody gave you any equipment, right? They didn't just say, "Hey, Chris, here you go." That didn't happen.
No, I actually had my own little zero-turn mower for my own house, and that's how I started it. And like I said, as the company grew and as my clients grew, then I bought the pieces of equipment as it went.
So, so you're given exceptional service at a better price. You feel. How does that look? So if you come to me and say, JD, you seem interested in, you seem interested in some lawn service, some whatever service that we're talking about. How does that? How are you different? What's that going to look and feel like?
I tell you, first and foremost, what people are going to see is they're going to see a greeting at the door with a handshake and a smile from my guys they're all in the same uniform. So it's a dress right dress. Of course, I was prior military, so all that had to be squared away first and foremost to give it a professional appearance. So they're going to be greeted with a smile and a handshake. And then, like I said, they're going to be, when you hire Tip Top, you get Tip Top employees. A lot of these bigger companies, because it's cost effective to them. You think you're hiring so-and-so company, and in the end, you have J&B Landscape, some guy in a tank top and shorts out mowing your lawn, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought I hired so when you hire Tip Top Lawns, you get Tip Top Lawns, and that's commercial and residential, and I think that's very important. People want to feel at ease. You're outside their house, but you're in their home that they work hard for every day.
We've talked to a lot of people that do service in the home, maybe outside the home. We talked to Scott from Safe Driver Events. We talked to people, and the respect that you have to have for someone's house is beyond. I mean, this is their number one possession, right? And treating something like that is really important. So, Well, that's cool. So you know, I always believe that people buy from people. I don't think that I think that's an important aspect to any small business. Business owners probably shouldn't. I mean, Steve could probably speak to this. Probably should never hide behind the curtain, right? Pull the curtain back. Be real. You're a real person. So, marketing wise, what do you do marketing wise? You do email blast? Do you do anything to drive anything like that?
Well, like I was saying earlier, on my first year, I had a handful of mostly friends and family. So I had to get the name out there. We started a web page and a Facebook page. But all my clientele to this point, and I tell you, we're in our third year, and we have tripled our customer base each year. We've at least doubled it, and it's all been word of mouth, providing again that service. And that good old fashioned customer service, you know, and like you had touched on a minute ago, with me being person, you know, the person behind the Tip Topp logo. Each and every one of my clients get my cell phone. So there's direct contact with the owner. If there's ever an issue with one of my employees, if there's ever an issue with the work that was done, they have a direct contact to me. You know, most of these other companies, you have technology nowadays, you have a secretary who gets with their secretary, and then days go by, and then there's a complaint email, and then you got to send another. Now you get my direct cell phone, and that's commercial and residential, and I think that's very important. Customer relationship for a long term.
You're not hired. Is really what you're saying. That you're the face and the voice of the business. So, Chris, I just want to ask a quick couple of questions. So you've been in this for like 3 years, and you started out now, and you're saying you've tripled that business within 3 years by just using referrals from the work that you've done with other people.
That's all we've done. You know, I'm still a full-time police officer. I've got 9 more years. And that keeps us busy enough. We have a full-time, I have full-time staff. My main operations guy, Kyle, he runs most of the day-to-day operations. But yeah, word of mouth has been the mainstay of us so far in tripling since the first year, tripling our client base.
Word of mouth is always a good way to promote any type of business. But, one of the things that we want to look at here is that people have just as much trust when you have reviews. When people are looking for a lawn service, you would have reviews that really, excites people because they know that other people that have worked with you have done a good job.
Yeah.
So have you ever thought about like that type of a process? Because what we believe, what you should do is that it really starts with reviews when you're trying to build a business. So, that's one of the things that we would like encourage you to at least. Yeah, now, do you have a Google account?
I would have to check with my main lady in charge.
You got to tap the other shoulder. You got to tap the other shoulder and say, "Hey, IT guy."
Yeah, that's the brains of the operation. Right.
So let me ask you this: so you're doing referrals. You're a referral type growth model, which is perfectly fine. What do you ask your customers to refer you? I mean, I don't know that everybody just runs out and goes, "Hey, my gosh, I met this guy, Chris. He's cutting my grass. It's unreal." I mean, how does that look?
Honestly, we show up. We show up on time. The time we say it. First and foremost, people reach out to me. This is another thing I saw with the other companies. People reach out, they inquire. Of course, especially when you're doing a big landscape job, it's going to cost you some extensive amount of money. So they'll get different quotes, and I actually encourage that. So we'll get the best price. When we do the estimates, you'll see me. I'm the owner. I go out there and I talk with these people. And the biggest thing is showing up on time, doing what you say you were going to do for the price you were going to do, and provide that service. And honestly, I do not ask any of the customers I have. They go out on their own because of the experience they get.
So that has to be exceptional service then, right?
I would hope so.
I mean, it sounds like it. I mean, I got 5 acres over here in the backyard. I'm gonna have you come and bring a bush hog or something, because something's got to give. But I'm tired of cutting all that grass.
Yeah, you know, most of the summers are for having fun. You know, have us up there and
yeah. The 2.5 hours cutting grass doesn't make sense to me, buddy. But so I'll check it out. If so, you're doing referrals, and obviously we talk about marketing on this call and share some best practices. Hey, what Chris is talking about, everybody, is a huge deal. Whether Chris asks for, Chris, I'm going to mute you. I think we're getting a little feedback. I'm just going to mute you for a second, okay, bud? What Chris is talking about is not beyond. I mean, it can happen naturally, and it sounds like with Chris it has, and that means he's doing an exceptional job. But even asking Steve, you can chime in on this, because even asking somebody, hey, would you refer me? Would you recommend me? Or something of that nature is okay. Would you agree with that, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the whole thing is that if you really look at what the stats say in terms, is that all you have to do is just ask people, like, you know, let's say that you're neighbors and you go to your neighbor and you say, I see the guy that's like cutting your lawn. Who is that person? Well, it's the same thing, except it's a little bit bigger scale when you're sitting there and asking for a referral. You're asking for your customers to actually say, what a great job that you did. And then they leave a message. Somebody comes along and they read that and they go, well, you know, that's probably who I should be using. And that really can grow your business.
I bet Chris is very professional. I mean, obviously, you know, it's a big deal to Chris being professional like that. To me, what Chris does is, I mean, look, he's wearing a uniform, right? Goodness gracious, man, he's right. People come out in tank tops and am I allowed to say wife beaters on this show? Am I allowed to say that?
No.
You know,
No.
with the staying. Okay. I did. We're live. So it is what it is. So listen, be professional, right? And so Chris is getting all this out of this business off that, or, you know, is getting the referrals. Now there's another step to that in my opinion. And listen, reviews is always the foundation, and it starts a viral trend. But I think that, and we'll talk to Chris, I'm going to pull Chris back in here in a second. I'd love to hear what kind of activity he gets on Facebook. And because listen, from a referral network, I mean, that's really what social media is in the digital world, right? In digital marketing, social media is a referral network.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to unmute Chris. Hopefully that mic's all right. Go ahead, Chris. What do you think about all that conversation?
Yeah, you know, it starts with Facebook. What I wanted to also mention is when, you know, these people, when I say the word of mouth, I've had more customers pass the word to their friends by way of neighborhood pages, wives pages, family outreach pages. So it even extends beyond Facebook, through Facebook as a conduit, if you will, to other specialized pages. So there's that, getting our name out there through that. And again, I don't ask these people. They hired us to do a professional and quick and in a courteous way, and that's what we do. And then I let the cards fall where they may from there. And so far it's going pretty well.
I like that. So what have you done on Facebook, Chris? Other than you just doing some posts, and that's okay, right? Showing your work. What do we do there?
Well, and that's the Facebook post, but within that, and like this year, and what I wanted to spotlight each year, I come up with just a crazy incentives, almost like selling a car. If you buy such and such package with us, you're going to get a lot of things free. Some things that are pretty expensive. You buy, and that's what we've done each year. We always thank our customers by supporting ball teams. I think that's important. That's where family starts. I have a kid that's always in sports, baseball throughout the year. And I think supporting teams, that's what makes America who we are, and it starts there. So getting the name out there, supporting those good home teams is very important.
And just so you guys know, Chris is not BSing there. My daughter plays for a softball team. Everybody on the podcast knows that. And Chris's company does sponsor our team. Thank you, Chris. I think that's awesome. It's an expensive sport, and not every family is privileged enough to have that expense. And when we all can help out, it is important. I think I sponsor it too, actually. So I don't know. I have to check. That usually goes through my wife, but that's fantastic. So, I've obviously been on your Facebook page. Have you ever thought about doing live Facebook? I mean, if I was you, I'd be on Facebook doing the gun show, because if I had them guns, son, boy, I'd be on it.
And that may be the new spotlight for 2018. We're going to do some. You bring up a good point. Take it to the next level. I actually have one of my crew members, Justice. His background's in media, and so I think having him out there doing some live video stuff of us, having fun, doing some great work. I think that will be very beneficial.
Well, what about this? Think about this, Chris, for a minute. What about promoting the team that you have so much passion about on Facebook Live? That might be a nice little gimmick. That way you're not like, okay, I'm showing I'm such a great guy when I cut lawns. You're showing you're a great guy because you support the team.
Yeah, exactly. And doing that live in all facets, even hitting some live stuff of the crew.
Just think outside of the box. Just think outside of the box of like things that you could do, because sometimes when it's not even really related to what you're doing, brings attention to it, which is kind of like why we're doing what we're doing. We're trying to like say, hey, we're cool dudes. Come and watch us, right?
Right.
So if you can do that type of a thing, that might also help. Just an idea.
So I like what you said, though, Chris. Think about this. You said, hey, I have a person on my staff that is good at this stuff. It doesn't always have to be just you, right? Empowering somebody gives them more ownership in what you do anyway, and more pride. So that's a great idea, man. I love it. And if you ever want to come out to a softball game, I know they're just, it's the most exciting thing that you could ever do on any given day. We'll have what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do something for you. We're gonna go live after some games this year. I'll do it, and we're gonna have the Tip Topp Lawn Player of the Game, the player of the game, and we'll interview them on behalf of Chris. How does that sound?
I like it.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
That's fun stuff. And so Chris, I love what you're doing, man. And so I love the promotions, man. You might want to send me a flyer, but let me know what these promotions are. If I want to get a bunch of stuff included here, I might have you come get. Do you got 2 bush hogs? Because I got a lot of stuff out there, man.
Oh, we've got plenty of equipment. We could. You said 5. We could knock that out in under an hour.
I was thinking some gasoline in a match.
Yeah, that always works. Burn it, you've created more grass growth, actually.
Yeah, I know. I burned a tree one day, and that's what happened. More grass came up over there, but it's funny to say that because then we'd have to call the fire department. That's what would have to happen, and then we'd have all your other buddies out there probably, and it'd be a problem. So I'll say, Chris said, I'll blame it on you. Chris said I could do this.
Yeah. So that okay.
Oh man. So any other? Hey, so you're growing 3 times a year? I mean, every year about 3 times the business. I love that. What's the plans this year? Same deal. We're gonna make those numbers or what?
I had a 5-year goal of securing some neighbors contracts, the mowings of whole neighbors. We're going to accomplish that this year. At least, I want to secure at least 2 neighbors. I want to get out there. My guys have fun with it. They work hard. We have different. I want to start having at the end of each week just a good crew cookout at our headquarters, our Tip Topp Lawns building there, and just keep it a family. Grow more professional, but keep it as a family atmosphere, because then that family atmosphere will rub off on each crew member when they're visiting residential lawns, and people will see that.
If you can't have fun at work, man, you shouldn't do it. That's the bottom line. And so I'm going to do an exercise with you, Chris, because I always do this, and you may have heard it on another podcast. So if you did, you can say I'm smarter than you, JD. So that's how this works sometimes. And I know that Steve knows this pretty well. So hey, first of all, do you have a tagline for Tip Topp Lawns? Does it have a tagline?
Tip Topp Lawns, measuring quality by the yard.
Oh, I like that one. That's nice. Measuring quality by the yard. All right, I like that.
That was live. I'm gonna trademark that. So that's these other companies. They heard it first here at Tip Topp Lawns.
Yeah, you better go straight to the attorney from there.
Oh, measuring quality by the yard. I love it. So, all right. So, look, I know you're going to get out there on Facebook. I know you're going to do some other things, and it's a progression. It's a growth. It takes time. You got to kind of put your spin on it. And so I want you to think about your brand, right? So when we talk about the branding, that's a big topic. It's a big conversation, but I always like to do this exercise. And if I said, hey, well, actually this happened yesterday. I was in the kitchen and I cut my finger with a paring knife. What did I put on my finger? I went to the bathroom and I got a what?
Well, probably a Band-Aid.
I got a Band-Aid. That's right. So Band-Aid is not correct, Chris. I got an adhesive bandage. A Band-Aid is a brand. Okay?
Gotcha.
So then while I was in the bathroom, because that's where I was, I looked at my ears and I had some stuff coming out of them. So I grabbed something to clean my ears out with. What'd I grab?
Chip with some cotton or something.
You're learning. You catch it on. So you grabbed a Q-tip, right? But look, that's the brand, and it can be, not that we're ever going to say that cutting grass is Tip Topp Lawn, right? I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to go tip top my lawn, but maybe I will. I don't know. But think about those things. Your brand is so important. It's so important to exactly who you are and what you do, and it's always a fun exercise. I got a couple other ones. I should throw the other ones out sometime, but it's really amazing how, that's millions of dollars, right? It's millions of dollars back in probably when Steve was a young kid is probably when all that happened. He's a little older than me. So did you guys call it Band-Aids back then, Steve, back when you were a little kid?
We did, JD.
All right.
Band-Aid's been around for a long. That brand has been around forever.
It's probably been around since World War I. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to get the statistics on that. I want to know what they did and how they did that. So, Chris, any closing thoughts?
No, it was great doing this with you guys. Like you said, I look forward to a great year here at Tip Topp Lawns. Each year is, you got your short-term goals, your long-term goals, and you got to keep those in your grasp. Again, great having me on here. Hope to get on here again and then talk with you guys more about brand and about you and obtaining that just to help propel us, because it is a very competitive world out here in lawns. But
well, we thank you for being on the show. It is competitive, man, and it's an ever changing landscape. When we talk about the landscape of digital marketing, I think Chris is a great example of that. I would say probably shied away from it. That's probably a fair statement. And it's because it's always changing. It's tough, and you got to have some direction on it. And what works one day doesn't work the next day, and then you don't even know if it's working, right? So we're doing it. Look, I'll give you a perfect example. Steve and I are doing this podcast, right? I don't know how many people are going to watch it. At first, it wasn't many. I think my mom watched it. She's a nice lady, but we just go with it. We progress, and we learn more, and we learn more. And when it's all said and done, we're able to get it going. And you got to stay on the path of righteousness, I guess is what we always say. And that's really what it is. And there's no wrong answer. This is the cool thing about digital marketing, Chris. There's no wrong answer. Say I do a post on Facebook, for example. We'll kind of keep it on that Facebook realm. Say I do a post on Facebook and it doesn't get the reach that I thought it would, or it wasn't as popular. Who knows, man? Was it the time? Was it the day? Was it a holiday? Who knows? Who cares? There's no wrong answer. Did it hurt anything? No, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt anything. So we're always here. I know we'll probably do some stuff together. We'll have some fun, and that's what it's about. It's about having fun and promoting your brand and keeping things in alignment. Because you're right, keeping it in alignment is it can get off track quickly, and it can be very difficult. Guys, I know through a mutual friend. Obviously, I know Chris's work, and I would highly recommend anytime that you can get. First of all, we love local businesses, right? We all do. And if there's any time that we can work with a local company, I think we should be all over that. So, Chris, thanks again for coming on, and we're going to catch up with you soon. We're going to see you at the ball field.
You mentioned how many viewers you may have today. The gun show may bring you even triple numbers today. Who knows?
Well, we're going to triple our viewership, just like you're tripling your business, and it's all because of the guns, and it ain't mine.
Thanks, Frank.
Oh, you bet, buddy. Anytime.